Essential Life of Ours here. I am going to do a whole bunch of from scratch recipes that you will be able to take and put into your mason jar so that you can go ahead and have it ready at home with ingredients that you already have here that you don't need to go out and get. Unless you're just learning how to bake and you want to do stuff from scratch, this is the way to go. Hope you guys enjoy. So what I'm going ahead and making first is my perfectly fluffy pancake mix. This pancake mix can be shelf stable for anywhere from 3 to 6 months if vacuum sealed, or having a lid and a ring on it. So first I'm going ahead and putting 4 cups of flour in there, and then once you're done getting your flour in there, you want to go ahead and get a 1/4 cup. That 1/4 cup is going to go ahead and be filled with sugar. And don't worry y'all, I'll make sure to have the recipes at the end. So after you go ahead and put that 1/4 cup of sugar in, then you're going to go ahead and put 3 tablespoons of baking powder in. This is what helps them rise and makes them so fluffy. Then you're going to go ahead and get yourself some salt in 1 teaspoon. I use iodized salt, but you can also use Himalayan salt or sea salt. Just make sure that it dissolves well. After you add all of those ingredients, you're pretty much set. And all you need to do is go ahead and take the whisk and mix it up. This way you can guarantee that all the ingredients are mixed up and combined well. These pancakes all together are an 8-ingredient recipe and can be stored for anywhere between 3 to 6 months if vacuum sealed, and 8 to 10 weeks with a lid and a ring on your mason jar. This has been a go-to staple for me and my family, and definitely so much healthier than box store mixes that have preservatives in it to keep it shelf stable. After adding all the ingredients together, you're going to get 5 cups of ingredients. I prefer to put it in wide-mouthed jars as it fits better than regular mouth quart jars. But anyways, y'all, that is the first recipe, and that is for perfectly fluffy pancakes from scratch, dry mix to be able to store away. There you go. You have your pancake mix all ready to use. I do not vacuum seal this one because I plan on using it immediately. If you guys need a vacuum sealer, I can go ahead and put a link down below in my comment section. That way you can go ahead and find it whenever you want. But here we go. Done with the pancake mix, on to the cake mix. What you're going to need for this is all-purpose flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and sea salt. You can also use iodized salt. Make sure to have all of your measuring cups on hand so that you aren't left out. The first thing that I go ahead and do is add 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. This is meant to be our base for the cake. Then you go ahead and add 3/4 cup of cane sugar or regular white sugar that you have on hand. It definitely keeps the sweetness and makes it worth eating the cake to begin with. Because what's cake without a little bit of sweetness? And after we add the sugar, we want to make sure to go ahead and get our baking soda, which is 1/2 teaspoon. The baking soda and the baking powders are both used to make whatever you're baking rise, so then you don't end up with half of a cake. But anyway, let's get that 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda in there. Once you're done adding that 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, you're going to go ahead and get your baking powder. Having both of these is definitely necessary when making a cake. Then you add your 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And don't forget the salt. You're going to go ahead and put 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there as well. The salt is meant to enhance the flavor, and once you're done adding all of your ingredients, you're going to go ahead and start mixing. That way we combine all of the ingredients again, just like we did for the pancakes. And for this recipe, I'm going to show you how to add the wet ingredients. We're doing 1/2 cup of milk, as well as 2 large eggs. I was lucky enough to get double yolks for this recipe. After you go ahead and add those eggs, you're going to want to get your vegetable oil or canola oil in 1/2 cup. I don't normally use vegetable or canola oil, so I went ahead and got myself some extra virgin olive oil. This was definitely a treat to get and not something that I have on a regular basis. So you're going to go ahead and get that and then dump it in there. Once you're done dumping that oil into your cake batter mix, you're going to want to go ahead and get your vanilla extract ready. I use imitation vanilla extract, as it is one of the cheaper ingredients that you can use in your home. Vanilla extract adds that nice vanilla flavor we all expect in a yellow, white, or vanilla cake. After you're done adding that, you're going to want to go ahead and start with the mixing. When I started baking this cake, I didn't really know what to expect since it was the first time that I was making this recipe. I ended up making a few changes to it myself, and I realized that this recipe is actually used for a 9x8 or a 9x9 baking dish. So don't make the mistake I did and put it in a 13 by 9. Definitely go ahead and take this cake and put it into a 9 by 9 square baking dish. There we go, y'all, mixing all those ingredients up. Once we have it nice and mixed so that there are no clumps left in it, you're going to go ahead and get your pan and grease it up. The grease is used so that you can make sure that it doesn't stick at all to the bottom of it while it bakes, so that when you take the slices out, they're just perfect. For me, I go ahead and use Crisco all vegetable shortening. This is what my mother used, so naturally it is exactly what I will be using for this. And once you're done going ahead and adding that to the baking dish, you're going to take all of your ingredients in your batter and you're going to pour it into the cake dish. Once you have it poured into the cake dish, you can then go ahead and set your timer for the oven. You're going to want to go ahead and bake this at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, or until a toothpick goes in and comes out clean. That way you can ensure that it's cooked all of the way through, and you don't have to worry about a soggy inside or middle. I'll go ahead and show you guys how it ended at the end of the video. That way we can get to our next clip on how to do chocolate cake mix. For our chocolate cake mix, you're going to want to go ahead and add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, as well as 1½ cup of sugar. Not forgetting the most important part, which is the ½ cup of cocoa powder. And after you add your ½ cup of cocoa powder, you're going to want to go ahead and get 1½ tablespoons of baking powder into that mix. And as soon as you add that into your mix, you're going to go ahead and mix that up so that it combines all of the ingredients thoroughly and very well, so that the baking process goes easier. Once you have all of that mixed up, you're going to go ahead and get your mason jar of choice. I like to use my funnel so that it makes it easier to pour it in. That way I can decrease the chance of any spilling that happens. Through this process, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to vacuum seal your products. Vacuum sealing is not only a wonderful choice, but it is a really good way to make sure that your food stays shelf stable for long periods of time. That way you can make a whole bunch of batches, vacuum seal them, and put them away for later. What I go ahead and do is take a dry rag and I wipe the top of the jar to get rid of any residue that was left behind. I go ahead and I place my lid on, and then I place the vacuum sealer on nice and tight. Once I'm done doing that, I go ahead and take the sealer and put it over top of a hole that makes sure that the vacuum stays nice and tight. Making sure to put pressure down onto both sides, that way I get enough sealing. Once it's all nice and sealed, you should be able to hear a ting. At that point, you can stop vacuum sealing, take it off, check it, make sure it's all good, and go from there. This has definitely been one of my most fun times, making recipes that'll be shelf stable and that I won't have to worry about rushing to get them done later. If you guys like my videos, like, comment, subscribe, share it out, and tell me what you think. Don't forget about that cake, y'all. Here is the cake, y'all. We dug into it the other night and I didn't get to it till today, so here's the cake. What I did is I went ahead and I put a frosting on top right here. And then after I put a frosting on top, I went ahead and put cocoa powder on top, just a light coating with some chocolate chips. And if you can't tell, I've got 2 excited children chowing down on their food so that they can get a piece of it. Well, anyway, y'all, it was so nice to do this. Sorry for just getting back to it, but anyway, y'all, I am so excited about this. I really hope that this helps you guys, and then this just makes things easier for you to make it from scratch for yourself, save you a little bit on the buck and the dollar, and get things that you already need in the house. Anyway, y'all, have a great day. Like, subscribe, comment, and watch my other videos if you want. But have a good one, and I'll see you later.